bringing you news, politics, and whatever else tickles my fancy. Welcome to the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. Coming at you live in the attic on the Ho Ho Show, and I am your host, Ho Ho. All right, guys. Well, so I was flipping through my go-to hub, and that is Flipboard. It is the news hub that I use because it is absolutely amazing for anything, everything, and all things news. And the headline, and I believe it was coming from the Western Journalism. I don't know. I don't even have it up right now. But it came from that, and basically she was at an IT conference in somewhere in America, and she was asked, by the person that was giving her the interview, and one of the students at this college, the IT college. And the question was, how do you feel about a presidential run for 2020? And her answer, in a matter of speaking, surprises me. However, I'm going to be okay. Well, let's put it this way. She said, no. She was, giving some, talk about the differences between her, her husband's presidency and then the now current president, Trump. And, the differences between them, basically saying that Trump is nothing more than a disaster and her husband did such an amazing job. Bullshit. And, sorry, I must be allergic to something up in here right now. But, she basically said that, a run for the president isn't something that she sees in her future. However, public service is something that she feels as though she's going to be doing for the rest of her life. I am paraphrasing, of course, because I do not have the article sitting in front of me. Her face was on it. I didn't want to look. Although, truth be told, I mean, it's one of them things that, just like her husband, I think she's going to be more of a social warrior type of president, just like her husband. Although I think she might actually have the potential to be worse if she were to actually run. And I mean, truth be told, and this is one of them things that, right now, Hillary was kind of their last shot at a president. As far as the actual, Democratic National Convention, the DNC, she was the only one in the lineup as far as, the somebody whom has paid their dues. Okay? Which it seems like all too much, that's all you get, isn't people whom are picked or chosen or whom come out of the woodwork who are, who want to be president or who would make a good candidate for president. Somebody whom is, worthy of the seat, of the desk. Somebody whom is actually going to take their obligations seriously with their oath of office, oath of affirmation. You think that'd be important, instead of just somebody whom, I've put my time in, I've served, it's my turn, and that all too often, that comes from both sides. I mean, that's just not something that is solely of the DNC. I mean, you hear that kind of crap out of Republicans too, what year is that? Not McCain. Who was the guy that ran up against Obama in his second term, 2012? Who was that guy? Crap, I don't remember his name now. See, that's how important he was to the Republican Party. 4 years later, I don't remember his name. Doesn't really matter, But truth be told, and this is kind of the thing, it's a fallacy of the DNC. They don't have an honest pick at this point, I even heard somebody in, what state was that? Maybe California. And this was a no-name guy. I mean, he might have been local. I had never heard the name, in the political arena at all, him before. Never. So, I mean, I have absolutely no idea if he's even serious. I mean, he just might be putting feelers out. I don't know. Truth be told, if he's actually interested in politics, he should kind of, get his name up there as far as local goes. Although, I'm in Illinois. I don't pay that much attention to California politicians, put it that way. Not necessarily, their politics, but they're politicians. I don't really care. It's California. Their policies may affect me in some way, shape, or form, and on down the line, because that's one of them things that as California goes, so does the rest of the country. So, I mean, you really got to pay attention as far as, the political field and what's going on in California, because in a lot of different ways, they use California as a testing ground for, liberal ideas and socialist ideas and things of that nature. They use California a lot for that kind of thing. Don't believe me, just take a look at their, their policies, their, their social whatever crap that they do in that. And, there's a lot of things that are just off the rocker. California, they should just, I don't wish ill will on anybody, especially considering California is going to call themselves a sanctuary state, which is horseshit. You are going completely against the Constitution of the United States of America. If that's what you want to do, honestly, secede from the Union. I mean, if you're going to blatantly violate the Constitution of the United States, secede. Get out. Be your own country. I mean, California can do it. I mean, they are not a landlocked, state. They're really not, and they can openly trade with anybody on that side. I mean, they really can, Although doing that would mean that they would have to be totally dependent upon themselves. And, I mean, hey, let's face it, okay? This is a state that has a water crisis next to the friggin' ocean. Are you kidding me? Why, do you ask? How could a state have a water crisis that's right next to the ocean? Well, it's simple. All the rainwater goes right into the ocean. They do not have reservoirs. Enough of them. I mean, it's been, wow, how long has it been? Like 20, I don't know. I heard a number not that long ago as far as, with their increase in population versus the increase of reservoirs that the state has made. And they haven't, comparatively speaking, they ain't done shit. That's why they have a water crisis all the friggin' time. Summer gets hot, the rain rolls in, the rainwater rolls back out again. And, they have stupid laws, even saying that you can't even make, water reservoirs on your own. Like rain collection thing. California's retarded. But yeah, that's one of the things of why California would never actually secede from the Union, because they know that the only reason why their state stays afloat is because they get all this money, because of these social programs that they participate in. They get all kinds of money from the government. And they are a bankrupt state. They really are. If I remember correctly, so is Illinois. We're horrible. But that's just because every governor we've had ever since I can remember has gone to jail, or right after they got out of office. Oh, you're out of office. Okay, now you're going to jail. It's kind of an Illinois tradition. Governor, prison. There you go. They have their own wing in a prison. It's the governmental, it's the governor suite. All kinds of awesomeness going on there. But yeah, so I chillax. But yeah, the DNC, they're struggling right now, and it's also apparent whenever you take a look at, okay, what is if I remember correctly, they were more or less going off of a different type, or not really a different type. They were more or less wanting to fix the old but still be Obamacare. Now they're more or less pushing towards a single payer, and a single payer brings the true, or the full lives system I think is what they're calling that. I could be wrong on what they're calling that, but you guys really should look that up, because what they have in there as far as, what type of coverage you can get, when you can get this coverage, it's all based off of your social worth. It's like if you are a newborn baby requiring all kinds of medical attention, well, the country has not invested in your life. You're just born, so there has been no investment in your education, no investment into your future. So you're not worth anything. Well, according to the full lives system, or whatever they call that, I don't remember what they call that. It doesn't matter. But according to their system, and don't take my word for it, read it. Read it for yourself. See what's in there. It's disgusting. It truly is. It's disgusting. But that's not why I'm here. That's a whole new issue. Okay? I'll actually get some numbers and facts on there, and I'll do a whole episode on it. It ain't going to bother me none. People need to be aware of just how sick and disgusting that, the Democratic, it's all about socialism. That's what they're trying to push us towards, is socialism. They want socialism. They want government run. Okay, let's put it this way. If you ever want to question what a party is about, take the Communist Manifesto, take the Constitution of the United States of America, the Bill of Rights, okay, and go, okay, so here's a platform. Okay, so government-run healthcare. Okay, so is that a purview of the Constitution, or is that a purview of the Communist Manifesto? Well, check it out. You can read. You're fully capable. You're an intelligent guy. You're an intelligent woman. You have a mind of your own. Don't take the bullshit from the party. Go read it yourself. Read the words. It's not real hard to do that. It's just, as a society, as a people, we've gotten lazy. We don't want to do our own research. We want to tune into the Clinton News Network and get our news from there, even though and this is what's disgusting to me as well. This pisses me off. People know that this is nothing more than party propaganda. Absolutely. It's no surprise. They're caught all the damn time. They've come out and admitted to it. But people still listen to them as a reputable, journalist, news broadcasting station. It's not. But at any rate, so you take a platform, and then you take a piece of that platform and say, okay, so is this the Constitution, or is this Communist Manifesto? If it's Communist Manifesto, then it's communism. If it's constitutional, then it's freedom. Does it hinder the government, or does it hinder the choice of the people? That's pretty simple right there. Does it take my choices away from me? And does it give more power to the government? Well, yeah. Okay, so how is that freedom? How is that constitutional based? How is that not communism? Don't want to give you an answer on that one. Because people just much rather have things handed to them to where they don't have to work. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Moving on. Let's take a quick break. And when I get back, and I promise I will not do the same stupid thing I did last time, and I still cannot believe that I did that. So, quick break. When I get back, I got a movie announcement, actually. And, I'm not surprised on this movie announcement. I'm really not, and it really wasn't, because it's one of them things that it more or less came out anyway. And considering, well, okay, quick break. When we get back, moviness. Oh, yeah. Just a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Hear that? Hear that? I didn't play my intro music again. right, welcome back live in the attic on the Ho Ho Show, and I'm your host, Ho Ho. All right, getting right into it. Terminator is what I'm talking about, Terminator films. And so, yeah, the original Terminator, the very first one, came out in 1994, titled, whatever, The Terminator. In which case, I was actually right on that last time I was talking about this, whenever I was talking about the new Terminator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and whomever it was that played Sarah Connor is going to be in this one, which is pretty cool. I'm actually very excited to see that. The second movie was done in 1991, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That is whenever John Connor is now a child, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger actually comes back to save him. And that was a really cool one, too, because that was the liquid metal Terminator. Very awesome. I really did like the graphics of that one. I thought they did I liked it. It was a good movie. Very, very funny. Yeah, good stuff. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. I was a fan of that one too, actually. That was very cool. Rise of the Machines. Do I remember that one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. That's whenever he was a teenager or whatever, in his 20s maybe, actually. John was in his 20s. I wasn't actually real thrilled with the person who they had to play John. I wasn't impressed with him, but, overall, he did a good job with the role. He just wasn't John. When you picture John, whenever he was in the first one as an adult, him in the second one, it wasn't him. It didn't look anything like him. And if I come to find out that they actually used the same guy, because this one came out in 2003. So, yeah, if they actually used the same guy, then, I doubt it. I haven't even looked at the thing. But, yeah, no, there's no way that's the same person. And then you have the next one, Terminator Salvation, and that was the one with Christian Bale in a very good movie. I liked how they did that one. They are in, the war at that time, and this was Salvation. Yeah, this was, yeah, good movie. Then that one came out in 2009. And then the most recent one, Terminator Genisys, and that one, I liked that one. I really did. What was going on in it was very cool. I liked the idea that they had, 3 different ages of Arnold Schwarzenegger in that one. You had the 1984 version, CG Terminator. You had the 1991 Terminator. You had, and then you had the old man Terminator. So, you had, 3 different ages of, Terminators, Arnold Schwarzeneggers, which was, I thought it was cool. It was something that I had never seen before in a movie, as far as, 3 completely different ages of the same character. But, how else are you going to do a movie like that where you're talking time travel and stuff of that nature? They didn't even go that crazy whenever they were doing Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. They did not get that insane. Not, years and years between them, as far as with, like, Michael J. Fox's character, at least in the same, yeah, but they didn't do that, so totally something I'd never seen before, and I liked it. I thought they did a very good job with the movie, and, of course, that one came out in 2015. So, very good movie. I did like it, although, and, all right, so, then I'll get back to that. And then the new one that's coming out, and from what I was told, it's just, Terminator 6. I don't know if there's any type of a spiffy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so Terminator 6, I don't know as far as the subtitle goes, Terminator Salvation, Genisys, so I don't know what the 6th one is going to be, but as far as the timeline goes, they are placing the 6th Terminator basically after Terminator 2. And from what the article that I read, that they are totally pretending that Terminator Genisys never happened. They're more or less, kind of removing that from the plot as far as, what's going on type of a thing. But they're, kind of doing away with that one. Of which case I kind of understand it, because in a matter of speaking, that's the only one that goes, that one altered a lot of okay, I don't want to say it altered it, but that's one of the things that it teaches. It kind of shows you in Genesis, and part of its preview or purview, and it really talks about this in Terminator 3 as well, Rise of the Machines, and even actually talk about it in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But yeah, in 2 and in 3, and I don't remember if they actually even discussed this at all in Terminator Salvation, but, one of the things that they talk about is that, the timeline is fluid. Okay? That you change one thing, something else changes. Okay? It's a fluid thing, and more or less is what they're basically talking about is that Judgment Day and the rise of the machines, the machines taking over, it's just going to happen. Okay, there's nothing you can do to stop it because with the flow of technology, with the progression of times and the progression of technology, and with the, the coming of AI, that there's no way around it. And actually, guys, if you want something kind of scary, okay, go back and listen to or watch. I have absolutely no idea as far as what type of, I have no idea. But if you go back and you listen to, the guy that invented the computer, okay, he basically said that with the progression of computer, AI is inevitable. And with AI comes, becoming self-aware. And if that happens, basically, and here's the thing, and this is actually kind of the scary part, and this is coming from every single computer tech guy. This comes from every single one of them, okay? Matrix is only science fiction in the aspect of it hasn't happened, and the technology that they're using in that movie doesn't exist. But as far as the progression of technology, the inevitability is there. And this is coming from way back then. The creator of the very first computer. This is coming from him, a science guru, a tech-savvy guy. Okay? He said, and a lot of them guys, all of them guys pretty much said the exact same thing. It's like, that through the progression of technology, with how things advance, this is the type of future you're looking at. Terminator, that's where the idea from that movie came from. The Matrix, that's where the idea of that movie came from. It wasn't so much science fiction, it was a progression of what the future could be if we continue on this road of computer development and the quest for AI. And a machine becoming self-aware. iRobot is another prime example of that because that's the thing, if you guys think about it, and they even talk about it in, the Matrix as well, we are a virus. The only way to protect the planet and to protect people is to, you get the idea. You get the idea. But I'm totally serious. So, that's one of the things that they truly talked about. So, but the thing is with with Terminator Genesis, if you take basically the original storyline and the history and the future and the whole thing with the original Terminator, 1984 Terminator, Genesis doesn't fit because and this is they talk about this in even in 2 and in 3 that. The timeline is inevitable. Whatever you think you change, all it's going to do is delay the machines taking over. Okay. But Genesis, they totally, they changed a lot of things. Okay. Now, granted, I like the movie, but because of everything else that has happened, they changed the movie. See, that's the thing though too. Genesis didn't really even fit into the Salvation storyline. But that's also one of them things, though, too. They went back in time and did more things as screwing around with the timeline and all kinds of other stuff. They screwed around with the timeline a lot, okay? That's explained in the movie, so it's not, this is not a Highlander Endgame type of thing. Okay? Through the movie, The Thing, they explain it, The Thing, it is there, The Thing. I like The Thing. But anyway, there it is. So, they're doing this second one, which is supposed to come out in 2019, Terminator 6, and they are basically putting this on the timeline as far as after Episode 2. And this is not the first time anything like this has ever happened either, because if you think back, the remake, I don't want to say remake, when they did Superman again, okay, after all of the Christopher Reeves episodes, and I don't even remember how many Superman movies that Christopher Reeves did, but whenever they did another, revamping, remaking, re-envision of, Superman, that one, Superman Returns, I think is what that one was called. And that one, as far as on the storyline goes, it takes place after part 2. More or less ignoring, all the other ones that Christopher Reeves did. So, I mean, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, And, I mean, truth be told, I thought Superman Returns was an excellent movie. I thought they did a really good job on it. And there's a bit of a little bit of movie trivia I've heard on that one. And let's just say I feel sorry for the individual who was digitally unenhancing the Superman costume. And, I'm hoping you can put 2 and 2 together and come up with a penis on that one. Because, I mean, I thought it was hilarious. They basically deemed that his penis was too big for the suit, and they had to have somebody digitally unenhance the package. It was hilarious. They had, so many, they had meetings on this, what are we going to do with that, and they were, tossing up so many ideas on, okay, we can do it like this, we can try this, we can do that, but we have absolutely no idea what we're going to do. And it was kind of one of the things that went right up to, the first day of shooting, and they still have yet to come up with a solution on what to do. And so basically they just let it fly. And they went in post-production and digitally, yes. Yeah, so there you go. A little bit of movie trivia for you. It's the things I know, right? The things that I've heard, and it's just, I make myself wonder sometimes. I really do, All right, so, long time ago, this was I think I was in high school, all right? I am sitting down in the living room, watching TV. I'm sitting on the couch. Dad, he's there, because, I was in high school-ish, I think, right around in that time frame. I was about 17 years old. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm having a conversation with myself, as, I do. And my daddy told me, he goes, son, you can, you can talk to yourself. That's fine, and you can ask yourself questions. That's fine, too, and you can even answer them questions. Because, let's face it, a man who can answer his own question, that is a man whom is a genius, Like, if, for instance, why is there no dirt on the outside of a rabbit's hole? Because they start from the inside and they work their way out. That's why there is no dirt on the outside of a rabbit's hole. It's amazing. So, you see, there you go, an example of somebody whom can answer their own question. That's the mark of genius right there. So, but if you ever ask yourself a question and then go, huh? Then there's something wrong with you. Yeah. Now I'm not going to come clean and tell you that that's something I've done, because, yeah, it's something I've done. I've totally said something so off the wall that I was like, what the fuck just came out of my mouth? So, yeah, it's happened. But, so I'm sitting there, I'm having a conversation with myself, and the question that my mind said to myself was, if I'm as crazy, if I worry myself and make myself wonder as much as I do, I would hate to know what I do to other people. And my dad, he was eavesdropping on my conversation. I did not give him permission to eavesdrop on my conversation. Who cares that, this was going on in his house. So who cares that it was in his house? I was in his room. I was, in the living room, in his house. So it's still his room. And, who cares about all that? I did not give him permission to just listen in on my conversation, let alone put his 2 cents in there. And he goes, "You have no idea." And I just looked at him. I had to laugh. I mean, that was just funny. But it was a serious question. I was like, man, because I concern myself sometimes. I mean, I've had some stuff just rattle off up in there in my head, and it's just, wow, it gets crowded up in there sometimes. It really does. So yeah, well, guys, I thank you for tuning in. Enjoy. That's pretty much all I got for this episode. So, maybe next time I'll talk about salsa dancing. That's fun. Oh, my last episode. Yeah, it's just I have, okay, how was that? I have ACD, yeah, because that's attention compulsive disorder, because I have ADD and OCD, so that's, ACD, which works too because, OCD isn't OCD, it's CDO because you have to put it in alphabetical order. So therefore it can't be out of order. So, OCD and it's got to be CDO. So if you have ACD, which is attention compulsive disorder, it's even more amazing because, it really doesn't matter because you can't say the whole thing without going squirrel. So it doesn't really matter what you call it, but it's still in alphabetical order. ACD, alphabetical order. It's very fun. These are the things that goes on in my head. I can't stop it. I can't say as if I'd want to, even if I could, because it's way too fun. I don't suffer from insanity, y'all. I enjoy every minute of it. So, in honor of a product purchase that I will be making soon, a amazing microphone. Enjoy it. All right, guys. Thank you much. That is the end of the show. Join me tomorrow, and I will have other stuff going on. And I have had confirmed on the Sunday show, I will have a guest in the house. We will be doing a live broadcasting of Religion Ho-Ho's Way. And the topic of conversation is going to be revolving around the Dresden Files. So if you are unfamiliar with the Dresden Files, it is an amazing 16-book series, and then he also has 2 short stories that he does, so there's a total of, 15, 17 books. Amazing books, guys. They really are. So check them out if you haven't. Yes, of course, it's talking about magic, but there's all kinds of things around it. But yeah. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you.